So Hillary had Christopher Steele, who was a foreign retired spy, dig up dirt on Trump, and they were paying Steele, who then paid Danchenko, to make up this garbage about Trump that was used to try to spy on and destroy him. First up, I want to update you on the Durham investigation. John Durham, who's the special counsel, appointed to investigate, we were told, the whole Russia abuse of President Trump, the spying and misdeeds that the Obama administration, followed by the deep state, abused Trump with in an effort to essentially end his presidency early. And talk about sedition. That was sedition to the extreme. The John Durham investigation has been going on for 3.5 years. There's been 3 prosecutions. The first prosecution was of a FBI lawyer who changed evidence as part of the FISA warrant process that you've heard about. He pled guilty. It was handed to Durham on a silver platter by the Department of Justice Inspector General, meaning that the Inspector General had uncovered the misconduct, and it took Durham, I think, 2 years plus to figure out or to get this case resolved with a plea deal that resulted in no jail time for this FBI lawyer who abused his authority to target President Trump and other innocent Americans. So not an auspicious start to the Durham effort. Secondly, he had a subsequent investigation / prosecution of Mr. Sussman. Sussman was Hillary Clinton's campaign lawyer, one of the top 2, who went to the FBI with false information about President Trump, and I think there were computers in Trump Tower, and they were trying to make the argument that we're somehow connected to the Russians. And it was all garbage. But on top of that, he said, well, I'm just here because I'm a citizen, it was alleged. And when in fact he was there on behalf of the Clinton campaign, Durham alleged. And that's why he prosecuted Mr. Sussman for misleading the poor FBI, who had no idea where he was coming from. In fact, it was pretty obvious where he was coming from, and that's the problem Durham ran into, and the jury acquitted the guy. So you have a plea deal that results in a slap on the wrist. You have an acquittal, and now you have the third trial or third prosecution that's going on. Supposedly it's the end-all and be-all of the Durham investigation, meaning there's going to be no more prosecutions. All we're going to get is a report. And this prosecution is of Igor Danchenko. Mr. Danchenko was the sub-source for the Steele dossier, meaning that Christopher Steele, who worked for the Clinton campaign, had Danchenko write some of this material that he just made up about President Trump, or then candidate Trump. And it was obvious in this dossier that it was made up. It looked ridiculous. It looked fanciful. It looked unbelievable. And sure enough, the FBI, which was more than happy to target Trump at the behest of the Clinton operation, couldn't even back it up. But of course, they went to the FISA warrant. They went with these FISA warrants to the FISA courts and told them they had a good reason to spy on the Trump team based on this dossier that they knew at the time was false. So who does Durham prosecute? Does he prosecute anyone in the FBI? Does he prosecute senior FBI officials? Does he prosecute anyone in the White House who also knew this information was lacking, yet continued to abuse the Justice Department and the FBI to harass not only candidate Trump and then the incoming president? No! He went after one of Steele's operatives, Danchenko, who the FBI knew at the time, or suspected at the time, was an operative for the Russia intelligence. So this, I want to take a step back here. So Hillary had Christopher Steele, who was a foreign retired spy, dig up dirt on Trump, and they were paying Steele, who then paid Danchenko, to make up this garbage about Trump that was used to try to spy on and destroy him. So Danchenko allegedly misled the FBI and lied to the FBI about the work he did on the dossier. Now, again, the FBI already knew it was bunk the dossier. And even though they didn't necessarily believe Danchenko, they kept on using him. And according to the revelations in this trial, the FBI actually paid Danchenko in 2017. So Steele, the Clinton campaign, paid him in 2016 during the campaign. In 2017, I think upwards of 2 or 3 years, they kept on paying him $200,000. So they continued the Clinton campaign operation against the sitting president with a person they thought to be, and had every reason to be, disreputable and dishonest and making sugar up as he went along. So that was an interesting revelation. The other interesting revelation, 3 years too late, is that the FBI, after they had fired Christopher Steele, now Judicial Watch, to take another step back, has really uncovered much of what we know about what went on at that time. We uncovered the FISA warrants. We got, for the first time in history, copies of FISA warrants, the corrupt warrants that were used to spy on Trump. We uncovered information about the details of the relationship between the FBI and Steele, Christopher Steele, who concurrently with working with the Clinton campaign was being paid by the FBI. Of the 13 times that he met with the FBI during the campaign, the FBI paid him 11 of those times. And then we uncovered that they were unhappy with him, the FBI was, because he was leaking what was going on. And what did they do? They went back and they tried to hire him again and offered him a substantial amount of money. And according to testimony elucidated from his FBI handler, or one of his FBI contacts, Mr. Auten, they offered him up to $1 million to dig up dirt on Trump and his team. And incredibly, the FBI didn't pay him because Steele had nothing to offer them. He had nothing to substantiate the dossier. He had nothing extra to give to them to substantiate the allegations that, which were outrageously false, that Trump was an agent of Russia. And yet the FBI continued to use Steele's material to persuade a court or courts to have these unprecedented FISA warrants targeting the Trump team. So does that sound pretty outrageous to you? It sounds outrageous to me. Now, of course, we already knew they had offered money to Steele again just before the election, up to $1 million. We didn't know the number. Of course, we're only finding out the number 3 years after the fact. We knew they offered him a lot of money. I mean, why did Durham take so long? It's really inexcusable. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.